Hi there, Dr. Nicola here. So today's installment of Down and Dirty Truths about chronic Lyme disease, we are going to raise the big question. Can we cure Lyme disease? And there's a couple of different ways to answer that. When I'm working with someone who has acute Lyme, they may have just had a tick bite, bullseye rash, they get on it, they get identified, they get assessed, they get on treatment quickly, then yes, in my view, yes, we can cure acute Lyme disease, knock it out of the system, and have it be over and done with, and they go back and live happily ever after. It gets trickier with chronic Lyme. So we do not use the word cure when we're talking about chronic Lyme disease. We use language about putting Lyme into remission. We want the goal to be to have somebody be symptom-free and recovered, but we don't use the word cure. And the reason for that is that once Lyme is chronic, once Borrelia becomes chronic within the body, even if it's well treated, even if the person's not experiencing symptoms anymore, we can't say that there's no traces of it in the body. It's kind of like if you've had mono, in Australia we call it glandular fever, or mono here, then you will always have Epstein-Barr virus in your body. Okay, it doesn't mean it's going to be affecting you forever, but it will always be there. Similar with chronic Lyme. There may be traces of the bacteria in the body still, but they don't necessarily have to be bothering you. It could be a point where your immune system kind of keeps it in check and everyone coexists happily. So a couple of things about that. I mean, surely Lyme, chronic Lyme, it's a long road and treatment is not quick and it's not easy and it's a journey, right? But I have seen patients go from like debilitatingly unwell, like wheelchair bound, to recovered, back in their life, having a good time, doing all the things that they want to do. So when we look at this whole thing of like, do people actually get better? Yes, people get better. We just don't use the word cure. The goal is we want to put Lyme in remission. We want to knock the pathogen load down so that the immune system can cope with it by itself. And we want to get somebody back to symptom-free, but we can't say it's cured and gone forever, okay? Now, what dictates who gets well and who doesn't? I mean, there's lots of different factors, but I want to point a couple of things out here in terms of like the psychology of recovery. Patients, I find, do better when they keep a positive mindset. And I'm going to be teaching you guys so much about this in the next months and years, hopefully. But one's outlook on life, one's attitude to one's illness makes a huge difference in the outcome. Okay. Now, this might sound odd to some of you listening, but I have had patients who've said to me, I actually am glad, I'm grateful for Lyme, because I grew so much as a person. I learned so much about myself. Like I came out of it a different and more evolved human being. Right. So in the dark hours of the night, I'm sure, you know, those thoughts are not easy to come by. And certainly people who have that mentality have done a lot of work on themselves and just a lot of processing and all of that. So I'm not saying that that's quick or easy either. What I am saying is the folks that I see who really kind of try to see the purpose in it, the bigger purpose, try to see how they can help other people through their journey, you know, keep a hopeful outlook, hopeful mentality, positive thinking, all of those things make a difference. Okay. So what isn't helpful is getting caught in the spiral of like, I'll never get well. This is forever. Nobody gets well. Everyone's sick. No one understands. No one supports me. Like, as much as you may think those things to be true, those thoughts are not serving you. Okay. So it's really, really important to be deliberate about how you're thinking about the whole illness and about how you're framing your recovery and your future health. Okay. So that's step one. Step two is be very discerning who you're speaking to. Please, please, please be careful, because as much as it is nice and often helpful, and I see the value in being around other Lyme patients or being in support groups, Facebook groups with other Lyme patients, so that you have people who understand what you're going through. I get that part. But here's my warning. There are people who are so entrenched in their Lymeness and their Lyme world and all the things that go with it, that they've almost forgotten who they would be without it. And those people are going to hold on to their illness because it's part of their identity. It's become part of their identity. So it's a mixed bag, and I don't mean to be critical about this, but it's important that we talk about it. I'm not criticizing anyone. Everyone's doing the best they can with the information they have at any given moment. And for you, please be discerning who you're sharing your energy with and who you're sharing your outlook with and whose mindset you're being influenced by. People always say to me, oh, they go into Facebook groups and they go, oh, it's so depressing, like nobody gets well. And I'm like, that's crap. People do get well. Those people aren't in Facebook groups anymore, right? They're not in those Facebook groups. They're out living life. They're doing what they want to do. They're not sitting there like in there posting about their symptoms and what's going on with their health all day. So again, I don't mean to be critical, and I do understand the need for support. I'm just asking you to be careful and just don't go down that rabbit hole of like being in the Facebook groups complaining about your stuff all day, every day, please, because it's not going to help your recovery. It might feel good and it might feel indulgent and it might feel familiar, but trust me, it's not going to help your recovery. So one of my goals next year, I'm going to launch a program called Mindset and Medicine, and it's going to be a group coaching program. It's going to be one like a Zoom call per week. And it's going to be covering all kinds of topics around chronic Lyme. So 2 Mondays or whatever day it ends up being, 2 days a week, 2 days per month, excuse me. It'll be topics on mindset and psychology and positive thinking and teaching you guys how to do that. The other 2 days, it'll be some kind of, some topic around Lyme disease, adrenal fatigue, or keeping the gut healthy, or, more like the physical aspects, the treatment aspects of Lyme. And then half the time it'll be more the mindset aspects of Lyme. So I really want to help you to be able to get to this place of using your mind and your brain and wiring it for your healing. But for right now, just be aware that if you spend time going over and over and over the symptoms, the story, the history, the past, the doctors that mistreated you, all of that stuff, which may be true. But the more you tell your story, the more stuck in the story you are, okay? You want to break free from that. You're better than that. You're bigger than that, okay? So we need to learn to put the stuff behind us that's holding us back and be like, right, okay, what do I need to do moving forward? What is my future? How can I move into that future and have it be different to my past, right? So, I mean, I'm a little off on a tangent because, we're talking about like, can people get well? Do people recover from chronic Lyme? Yes, they do. Categorically, yes. Is it quick? Is it easy? Nope, none of those things. But people do get well. So your best bet is to start little things, gratitude, journaling, gratitude every day. 3 things that you did for yourself, 3 ways you took care of yourself. Reach out to some people you haven't been in contact with for a while and just reconnect friendships. Find out how other people are doing, right? Try and get around like-minded individuals, fine, people who may be going through the same thing, but make a promise to each other that you'll hold each other accountable for going down the rabbit hole of misery and negativity. Okay, make a more productive group. So, that's why I started telling you about the coaching program, is because one of the things I want to do is bring together a community of people who are like-minded, chronic Lyme, chronic illness, mold, toxicity, all the things, and provide a place of community and support without it being a negative spiral. Okay, so that's one of my goals because I think there's so much need for that. And I know there are people that want that community because some of them are my patients and I talk to them about it. But stay hopeful. Yes, people recover from chronic Lyme, even desperately, desperately unwell people I have seen recover. Okay. I've had some patients who have got to like 95%. They may have a niggling something here and there. My mother-in-law has chronic Lyme, and she, for the most part, does great. And every so often she'll get a little bit of joint pain or something will rear up, and then it'll go away again. right? So be hopeful and be optimistic, but be very deliberate in who you're hanging around with, who you're talking to, what your language is, what thoughts are passing through your head. And just stay hopeful and claim that you're going to be one of those people that recovers. Okay, let's claim that right now. Great. I'll see you in the next video.